What's good, guys? Just Prince TV here. Now, this is part two of Could Have Been, Would Have Been in hip hop. And the second group is none other than the Firm. I briefly touched on them in the last video, but let's get into them a little more. You had Nas, who was already Nas, okay, arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, rap artist of all time. Then you get his running mate, AZ, who was one of the most best kept secrets in hip hop, especially for underground East Coast hip hop. So he had a little wave going on himself. And then you had Foxy Brown, who was one of the hottest female rap artists of all time. And she was going neck to neck with Little Kim. I think Little Kim got the edge on her briefly because Little Kim was backed up by Biggie Smalls and Junior Mafia. So she had a bigger commercial, more commercial status to back her up. Then you had Underground Street Element and Cormega, slash Nature. So either way, you was going to get that Underground Street Element with that. So there was a four-person group. Then you had the Firm affiliates like Cannabis, who became, a great lyricist. So the Firm would have been one of the greatest rap groups of all time because they had everything you need to be a successful rap group. But what they didn't have was continuity and loyalness. They was too tied up in their individual careers because they were individual artists first and foremost. And splitting the money as an individual artist is really hard. And the power of Nas and arguably secondary Foxy Brown was too overwhelming for the Firm. Mainly Nas. Nas was too big of a star to be a group artist. It's Nas, for Christ's sake. So you think of Nas, you think of Illmatic, you think of the individual career that is Nas. So he could never fit into a group because he's always going to overshadow the group because he's too commercially big, and known. It's like putting Jay-Z in the group. That's why Jay-Z and Rockefeller would have never been one of the greatest groups of all time. But I'm going to get into them too because they had an opportunity as well. But same situation, that problems that plagued the Firm plagued Rockefeller. You got that. Then you have the element in there of a lot of guys in the group that's just not heavily pushed. I mean, Cormega would have been better for the Firm than Nature. Nature was a laid back cat, but he was too much of the same personality as AZ and Nas. So that was one of the biggest drawbacks. Cormega was something different. He was the grimiest one. He would have been the wild one, the one busting his gun, the one, talking that, gangster stuff that Nas and AZ briefly touch on, but they don't touch on it the way Cormega do. Cormega talk about it like, he running up on you already, Nas and AZ were like smooth gangsters, mafioso style. Then you have Foxy Brown, who was arguably the second best female artist at the time, commercially known. And she was battling her own demons because she couldn't realize if she wanted to become the next Little Kim or, just the next woman lyricist. And she could never get that down because her career was too tied to Little Kim, and she was selling more sexuality than actual rap music. So that's one of the problems. But overall, the Firm was just missed opportunities, man. And they could have been one of the greatest rap groups of all time. And unfortunately, never going to get it. And they released the album. Commercially, it didn't reach the level to what Nas and them boys thought it was going to do. And it kind of tanked, but just imagine how big the Firm would have been. It would have been one of those crew rap groups slash record labels because they would have brought more people in. And they would have been like 9 to 10 deep as a group, the Firm. Just imagine who else they would have got. It'd have been crazy. They could have probably picked up somebody like Big L or something. It'd have been crazy. Because Big L on the Firm would have been great too. But it didn't turn out that way, man. Just PTV out. Peace.